We outside. How y'all doing today? And on today's video, we're going to be talking about the best Pokemon that you guys should be using in Pokemon TCG Pocket and the other Pokemon that can be used with the best Pokemon to make the #1 deck and conquer everybody else. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos like this one. But let's hop right into it, baby. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with making a tier list. So first and foremost, we have D tier, which is going to be consisting of Machamp, Executor, and Wigglytuff. These three cards right here aren't really meta, and you shouldn't use them because they don't do as much damage as the other cards. For C tier, we're going to be having Lapras, Marowak, and Arcanine. The reason I picked these three is because the Lapras ability where you can heal 20 isn't the worst, but the damage is not there. Marowak relies too much on RNG to be good, and Arcanine does damage to himself. So that's the reason why I put them in C tier. Now we have our B tier, which is going to consist of Venusaur, Zapdos, Blastoise, and Gengar. The reason I picked these four Pokemon is because Blastoise is an overall decent EX. Gengar, really good ability. You can have your opponent use support cards. Very helpful. Zapdos, I would put him higher, but it's just the fact that his skill relies way more on RNG than it does just doing base damage. Venusaur actually has the highest HP in the entire game, and the fact that he can heal 30 every time he attacks is really good, considering you can use Erica, which is a trainer that heals 50 more HP for any leaf type Pokemon. So, really good right there. Next, we have our A tier. This is where our Pokemon start getting a lot better. We have Starmie, Articuno, Moltres, and Charizard. The reason I picked these four Pokemon to be in our A tier is because Starmie is a very good, high damaging first stage evolution Pokemon. And I do recommend getting him because he is pretty decent HP. He does 90 damage, really good. Articuno is insanely good because he can do 80 damage to your active Pokemon and 10 to all of your bench Pokemon. Moltres' ability is just insanely good, and you need him on your fire team. And then we got Charizard for main reasons. His damage is just through the roof. Now for the last and obviously not least, S tier is gonna have Pikachu EX and Mewtwo EX. These are both Pokemon that don't take any steps of evolution. So if you have these two cards, you are set. Definitely build for a electric deck or a psychic deck. If you play this game, I'm sure you know how broken these two cards are once you build the right deck around them. Now we are going to be talking about the three main cards that you guys should be using for each element besides metal, because we did not go over metal or dark because there is no EXs for those two elements just yet. Hopefully they add some more. But first up, we're going to have our psychic deck. It's going to be consisting of Mewtwo, Gardevoir, and Meowth. And as you know, you're only able to use one energy per turn, but once you get Gardevoir, she makes it so you can get an extra energy and put it on Mewtwo. So he can attack every turn and do Side Drive, which is 150 damage. It's crazy. And the reason we're running Meowth is so we can get Gardevoir a little bit quicker. So first hand draw, we get Meowth, place him down, and then evolve our Gardevoir, get down our Mewtwo, and we pretty much win the game every single time. So this is a very no-brain deck, very easy to use, and definitely one of the best decks in the entire game, if not the best. Next up, we're going to have our electric deck, which is going to consist of Pikachu, Zapdos, and Zebstrika. Now, with this deck, it is very low HP. And the whole point of this deck is to keep Pikachu in the active spot and have all of your Pokemon on the bench so your Pikachu does more damage. So the reason why we're using Zebstrike is because he does deal 30 damage to opponents' bench Pokemon, which is insanely good, kind of like Hitmonlee, because he is a fighting type that also deals 30 damage to each bench Pokemon. So it is a very nice thing to have. And like I said, the HP is very small, but you are doing very good amounts of damage in the early stage of the game, making this deck very, very good. Next up, we have our water deck, which is going to consist of Articuno, Starmie, and Golduck. You're probably going to be asking yourself, why do we have Golduck? Well, because Psyduck is actually a very good first-hand Pokemon, and if you place him down first, it'll make it so the opponent cannot use supporter cards, which is very good because most people like to spam supporter cards and just get all of the cards they want firsthand and try to win the game. And Articuno and Starmie are just two very good EXs, and they flow very well together. Starmie is especially very good in early game. Next up is going to be our fire deck, consisting of Moltres, Charizard, and Ninetales. The reason why we have Ninetales in this deck is because Blaine, which is a trainer, makes it so Ninetales will do 30 more damage, which is crazy because he's already doing crazy amounts of damage. So he'll be really good for early stages, considering this deck is meant to be a very slow deck. Moltres, you play him first hand, Inferno Dance, flip 3 coins, and put everything towards your Charmander until you get Charizard. Place down your Charizard and then dominate your opponent. It's kind of how that goes. And then your Ninetales is, if anything goes bad, you could place him down and kill whoever's out there. Next up is going to be our grass deck. Now, this is one of my favorite decks. I'm very biased on it, but it's going to consist of Venusaur, Lilligant, and Butterfree. This is a very tanky deck. Now, when you have Lilligant out, she's going to be able to use Leaf Supply, which makes it so you can use one Leaf Energy and attach it to anybody else every time she attacks. And Butterfree is actually going to heal any of your Pokemon for plus 20 damage every turn. It is very good. And on top of that, your Venusaur can also heal 30 damage every time he attacks. So every time you attack, you will be healing 50 damage back. On top of Erica, which I do recommend using her too, she heals 50 HP back for any leaf type Pokemon. This team is by far one of my favorites to use. It's very fun. Now, last and certainly least is our fighting type deck, which is going to consist of Marowak, Graplocked, and Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee is honestly one of the best cards in the game for start use because that 30 damage to any benched Pokemon can be really good when you're in a pinch. You even have to use it for your starting hand. Just having him in your bench and having one energy on him can really benefit whether you win or not. Because this deck is all RNG. You get Marowak and flip 2 coins and possibly do 160 damage. Go for the gamble. Is it worth it? I don't think so, but there's definitely better decks than this one. Locked, I will be honest, his knockback ability isn't too bad, but it costs way too much energy for the amount of damage it does. That'll be all that we have for you guys today. Thanks for sticking around for those who did. And also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos like this one. We inside now. I'll see you on the next one. Smooches.